You're live.
Okay, thank you. Hello, welcome to Yoga at London Buddhist Centre. So my name is Anna and I'll be teaching the class today. I'm here at the Buddhist Centre in Bethnal Green. It's very sunny here. It might be sunny where you are. I hope it is. Yeah, do let us know. Well, say hello in the comments if you like. I've got Tara, who's behind the camera, who's going to be doing the tech for me and also practicing a little bit as well. So yeah, do say hi and let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us know if it's your first time. And we'll get started in just a moment. And while you're waiting, you might just like to make sure that you've got everything that you need for the practice. So you can, make sure you've got a mat and some kind of support. So maybe a block or maybe a cushion or something is advisable. Yeah, it's quite a good idea. Is anyone saying hello?
Yeah, we've got a hi from Julia, who's in Tottenham.
Hi, Julia. Welcome. Yeah, so welcome if you're just joining us. Yeah, it's always really lovely to be practicing, semi together. And yeah, I know that lots of you tune in from all over London, all over the UK, and sometimes further afield than that, which is really, really nice. So yeah, really, really warm welcome to you all. So I'm going to make a start, and I'll just say a couple of things about the practice, and then we'll get going. So the focus of today's class is it's actually about focus. So it's about moving from a distracted mind to a more focused mind, and about how we can use our yoga practice to help facilitate more focus. And yeah, I suppose I've been reflecting on this quite a lot myself recently. My routine has changed a lot, and my daily life has changed a lot, and my relationship to the news and to current affairs has also changed. My relationship to screens as well, to my phone, to social media, have all changed a lot. And suddenly it feels like there's a lot of things that are vying for my attention at the moment. And that's always been the case, but it feels particularly so at the moment. And I think it's particularly important to practice kind of gathering up all of the parts of ourselves and acknowledging the distractions, noticing that we are distracted, and also practicing training ourselves, practicing cultivating a certain focus. So we can practice training ourselves to focus our attention, to redirect our attention to something slightly sharper, slightly more integrated. Because what I often find is that when I have a distracted mind, it's not a particularly efficient or constructive place for me to be. So I might be half doing 3 things at once, none of them particularly well. And I think one of the things I enjoy most about practicing yoga is that you're really kind of focusing your efforts on doing one thing. And yeah, there are different sort of components to that one thing, but as much as possible, we're practicing, making one shape, and then it's almost like we set up a feedback loop. So we practice sort of putting our body in particular formations, and then noticing the effect of that on our breath and on our minds as well. So that's what I'm going to be encouraging us to do. And I'll be encouraging us to do that in quite a systematic way. So, focusing on particular sensations that might be vying for our attention a little bit more, and then focusing on broader sensations throughout the whole body, and then focusing on the breath. And you, for yourself, you might prefer to kind of use this more linear, this linear style of practicing or practicing cultivating awareness. Or you might feel like you prefer to sort of broaden out your awareness, so you have a broad awareness of sort of particular sensations, and then more kind of whole body sensations and breath all at the same time. It just sort of depends on you, really, on how you prefer to work. And you can try them both if you like. So just start with a short sit. So just sit quietly for a moment. So just closing down the eyes. And just becoming aware of the points of contact between the body and the ground. And just beginning to gather the awareness inwards. Just noticing whether the mind is feeling distracted. And sort of taking stock of where you are right now. I'm just going to read a short line from the Dhammapada, so an early collection of Buddhist teachings. So this is on the section called the mind. As a fletcher straightens the arrow, so the man of understanding makes straight the trembling, unsteady mind, which is difficult to guard and difficult to restrain. As a fletcher straightens the arrow, so the man of understanding makes straight the trembling, unsteady mind, which is difficult to guard and difficult to restrain. So in a way, we can imagine that what we're doing here is practicing that straightening the arrow, that sharpening of the awareness, the attention, steadying the trembling mind. And begin to redirect the attention to the breath. And just taking a couple of slightly smoother, slightly deeper breaths. And then next time you breathe in, just circle the arms up over the head. You can keep your eyes closed or you can open them. And as you breathe out, just bring the arms back down alongside the waist. And then again, a few more times, just following the natural pace of the breath, of your own breath. Breathing out, just bringing the arms down, and see if you can allow yourself to become kind of absorbed in the movement here. Of just raising and lowering the arms, feeling the temperature of the air on the skin, and feeling what parts of the body need to switch on in order for you to move like this. Okay. And then next time you breathe in, lift the arms up and then pause here. And then twist your whole body towards the right-hand side and come into a twist. So take your left hand to the right knee or thigh, right fingertips to the ground. And just take a breath in here and try to lengthen up through both sides of the waist. And then breathing out, just turn a little bit more towards the right-hand side, neck in a position that is comfortable for you. Good. And then as you come back to center, lift the arms up once again. And then breathing out, come to the other side. So right hand across, left fingertips behind. Just see if you can register where in the body you feel the effects of the posture here. In the middle of the body, perhaps, the shoulders. One more breath. Good. And then coming all the way back through center. This time, take your right hand down outside the right hip. Bend the elbow a little bit down towards the ground and then reach the left arm up and over into a sidewards bend. So look a little bit down towards the ground. So you can lean into it as you look down. Lean to the right and feeling the sensations around the left rib cage. Just breathing into those sensations. Good, and then coming all the way up through center and take it to the other side. So plant the left hand down and bend the left elbow a little bit down towards the ground. Reach the right arm over and look down. So you're noticing the sensations that are most immediate to you. So probably around the right side body. Good, and then coming all the way up through center. And then let's come to hands and knees from here. So just remove anything that you're sitting on. We'll start to move through a cat-cow here. So just spread the fingers nice and wide. Take the shoulders over the wrists, knees under hips. And start to move through the spine. So inhaling to look forwards, drop the belly. And exhaling to round through the spine, let the neck go. So a few times like this, just breathing in. And breathing out, and see if you can allow the awareness to encompass or to include the length of the spine as you move. And you might like to imagine the spine like a wave. So there's this kind of wave of motion traveling up and down. Or sometimes I quite like to imagine sort of fronds of seaweed or something in the sea, just sort of floating, trailing. Just a couple more times. Good, and then just find your way into a neutral spine. And what we're going to do here, we're going to plant the hands, tuck the toes under. Press the hands strongly down into the ground and then just lift the knees a little bit off the ground. So just like a millimeter or two. And try and keep the breath flowing. Try and keep the jaw soft. One more breath here. Good. And then the knees come down to the ground, just gently, and then come back into child's pose for a moment. Take the forehead down towards the ground. And just take a slightly deeper, slightly slower breath. And then we're going to do that one more time. So coming up to hands and knees. So it's important to really engage the midsection as you do this and engage the thighs. So tuck your toes, press the hands down into your mat, and then lift the knees a little bit. And this might sound counterintuitive, but try and relax the effort a bit as you're here. So as much as you can, let the face soften, let the jaw soften, let the neck go. For one more breath. Good, and then take the knees to the ground. And make your way back into child's pose. So hips come down towards the heels, forehead comes down towards the ground. And again, a slightly deeper breath in here. And a slightly longer breath out. Good. And then from here, come back up to your hands and knees. And then look at your right hand and just take it a little step forward. So it's just about half a hand's length forwards of the left. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come into a baby half moon. So I'd like you to rotate your your right foot a little bit off your mat, and then extend the left leg back. And then take your left hand onto your left hip, turn your hips around towards the left, and then see if you can lift that left leg up. And you can keep your hand there so that you can just notice the sensations here and really press that right hand down. Notice the sensations in the outer left hip. You can look down at your right hand, you can look straight ahead, or you can look up towards the ceiling and reach the left arm up. Yeah, but try to keep the gaze steady and try to keep the breath flowing. Good, and then look down towards the ground and come back to hands and knees. So just squaring off the pelvis and the knees. Good, and then we'll take the second side from there. So you might need to shake the right wrist out a little bit and then change sides. So left hand comes a little step forwards of the right. And then just turn your left shin out about 45 degrees. Lengthen the right leg. And then turn your body towards the right. Right hand to right hip. Lift the right leg up. So the right heel is in line with the right hip, not too much higher. Yeah, and then just fix the gaze on something. It doesn't matter what, but just try not to move the eyes around too much. And then stay here, or reach your right arm up, look up towards the right thumb. Just breathing. Every part of the body that's in contact with the ground, press it down. Lovely. And then come back to hands and knees. Well done. Good. So we're going to repeat that in a little bit in the full pose, the full half moon pose. But for now, let's come through downward facing dog. So tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back, spread the fingers out nice and wide. And you might want to start by just bicycling out the legs, just bending into one knee, then the other. And just letting the back of the neck lengthen. And here, so just noticing where in the body you feel the posture most strongly. So maybe for you it's the backs of the legs, maybe it's the shoulders. And then see if you can broaden the awareness out somewhat. So you're taking in the whole body. So remembering that you have a back, you have a pelvis. You have hands and arms, you have a head, a belly, all these things, even if you can't feel them very much right now. Just remembering that. So feel the whole body. Good, and then just look forwards, and we're going to step the right foot through to between the hands. You can help it along its way if you need to. And then just come onto your fingertips. So we're in a kind of runner's lunge here. Keep the back toes tucked under. And then just a few times, so stay where you are as you breathe in. And then really slowly, just start to lower the left knee down towards the ground. And then on your in-breath, straighten the left leg. On the out-breath, bend. And it's as though you're trying to draw the two thighs, breathe in, extend, towards the midline of the body. Couple more times. One more. Good, and then left knee down. And this time, hands come down flat. Step back into downward facing dog from there. So again, spread the fingers wide. And just register difference between two sides, between the right leg and the left. Good, and then we'll change sides. So go ahead and step the left foot forwards between the hands. So quite a generous stance here, a generous space between the 2 feet. Pull the chest slightly forwards. Take a breath in. And then as you breathe out, lower the right knee until it touches the ground. And then breathe in, extend. Breathing out to bend. Breathing in. And breathing out. So press the fingertips down, front heel roots down. Okay, last one, straightening. And then bending. Good. Hands come down to the ground. Draw yourselves back. Come into downward facing dog. And then we're going to come and do some standing postures in a moment. But before that, let's come forwards into high plank position. So quite similar to just hovering the knees off the ground. You'll start to feel similar parts of the body switch on. So just notice that. And then as best as possible, see if you can just soften through the face. Couple more breaths. Relax the jaw. Good, and then lower the knees to the ground. Well done. Bend the elbows, come all the way down to the ground. Good. And then take the hands a little bit back so they're about in line with your middle ribs. Tuck the elbows in. And then come up into a cobra pose from here. So lifting up the chest, roll the shoulders back and down. Broaden the chest forwards. Press the tops of your feet down. Feel the whole of the back body. Good. And then really, really slowly, lower yourself down to the ground. Chest moves forwards as you come down. Step the hands forwards, tuck your toes, and then draw yourselves back through downward facing dog from there. Taking a steady breath in and a long breath out. Good. And then from there, look forwards and step your right foot through to between your hands. And we're going to come up into Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. So turn and ground your back foot, bend the front knee, and lift up from there. So nice, generous step between your 2 feet. Front knee is bent over front ankle. Back leg is nice and straight. And we're going to invoke that line from the Dhammapada, the Fletcher straightening his arrow. So what we're going to do, your back hand, your left hand, is going to reach forwards towards the front hand. So you're going to make press your hands together, reaching them forwards. And then sliding that left hand up your right arm, and then come back into the Warrior 2. So reach the left arm back. And then a couple more times. So swing the left arm forwards, and then sliding it all the way back. So the palms facing in towards one another. And just really feeling the left shoulder here. Feel the left shoulder working. Take one more of those. And the gaze is straight forwards towards your right thumb. Good. This time pausing. Go ahead and straighten your front leg, 2 straight legs. Come down into triangle pose from there. So reach the right hand forwards. Right hand comes down to right shin. Left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. So the gaze is steady here. If you can, looking up towards that top thumb. And just noticing where in the body you feel the posture. So perhaps through the legs, maybe through the chest. And then just seeing if you can open out the awareness to include the rest of the body, to include the whole body. Good, and then pressing into both of the feet, coming all the way back up to standing, rebend your front knee. And then look at your back leg, take your left hand down towards the back thigh, and reach your right arm up. So into a reverse warrior from here. Keep bending into that front knee, and try to make sure the front knee is not knocking inwards across the body. So sending it a little bit out towards your right hand side. Couple of breaths. Breathing in. And breathing out. Good. And then from there, we're going to change sides. So just cartwheel your hands down towards the ground. Pivot on the back foot. You can come through downward facing dog here. And then we're going to take those standing postures on the left-hand side. So the left foot steps through to between your hands. Lifting up. Take the arms out wide. So we start with quite a long stance here, quite a wide stance. That back leg is nice and straight. Outer edge of the back foot in line with the short edge of your mat. Front knee bends over front ankle. Good. And then turn the palms so the thumb's facing up. And then start to reach the back arm towards the front. And then sliding the fingertips up towards the chest, across the collarbones, all the way back. Just taking that a few more times. So you can move at your own pace. You can move with the breath. And just feeling the action of your right shoulder here. Good. And the next time you extend the arms, just pause there and flip the palms back so they face the ground. And then go ahead and straighten out your front leg. You might want to shuffle the back toes slightly in. Reach the left arm forwards and then down. So left hand can rest on the left shin. Right arm can lift up. Then it might be a sign that you've just gone a little bit too far, so you can lift up a little bit out of the posture. And so you never want to be anywhere in yoga where all you can feel is one thing, and it means that you either can't breathe or you can't feel anything else. Good. And then let's press into the 2 feet. Come back up to standing, rebend the front knee. Look at the back leg, and then right hand comes down. Left arm reaches up. So just like in that side bend at the beginning, really feeling the left side body, feel the left side ribs. Leaning slightly back, keep bending into that front knee. And again, just registering where in the body you feel the posture most immediately. And then broadening out the awareness to encompass the rest of the body and the breath. Lovely. And then look forwards, look down, cartwheel the hands down, and draw back into downward facing dog. Spread the fingers out wide. And you can either stay in downward facing dog, or you can rock forwards through a plank pose. And then come through a back bend, lower down, come into a cobra or an upward facing dog. I'm going to stay here. Wherever you are, just seeing if you can just keep redirecting the attention into the body. Just noticing if you're distracted, if the mind is wandering. Okay, so we're going to take a balancing posture on that right-hand side. So let's step the right foot forwards once again. Turn and ground the left foot, and then come back into warrior 2. Good. Okay, and then this time again, look at the left leg, left hand onto left leg, right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to come forwards into a half moon posture. So I've got a couple of blocks. I'm going to use them for my right hand. You can take your right hand down to the ground, or you can float it off the ground. So let's take the left hand to the left hip. And then just start to lean the body forwards until the back leg, the left leg, lifts up. And then your right fingertips can come down either to the ground or onto blocks. You can keep that left hand on the left hip, so feel the left hip switch on. Or You can reach the left leg up towards the ceiling. And just notice how the breath is. And then when you're ready, you can step all the way back. Come back through warrior two. That's a really hard posture for me. And then we're going to change sides. So cartwheel the hands down. Draw back, come through downward facing dog. And then just go ahead and change sides. So left foot forwards, right heel comes down, lifting up the arms. And then reverse warrior, so right hand down, left arm reaches up. Good. And then right hand onto right hip, lean the body forwards. So left fingertips under left shoulder, try not to have the fingertips too close to the body as you lift the right leg up. And if you're wobbling, that's fine. That's very normal. Hand can stay on hip or reach up. Just looking at one thing. Just focusing the body on doing one thing. Good. And then when you're ready, come out of the posture. Cartwheel the hands down. And this time step forward. So come into a forward fold from there. So soften your knees, feet around hip distance apart. Relaxing the head, take hold of your elbows. Rock a little bit from side to side. So we're going to do a couple more balancing postures now. And in preparation, I'd just like you to really connect in with the sensation of the feet on the ground. So you might want to rock forwards and backwards a little bit and just notice that. Feel the spread of the toes. And then release the elbows if you've got hold of them. Bend the knees a little bit more and slowly come all the way up. And just standing in mountain pose for a moment, you can close your eyes. Just feeling the feet on the ground. Okay, and then we're going to come into a tree posture here. So we can start by grounding down through the right foot. And then bring the left knee up in towards the chest. Then turn the left knee out towards the left side. And take the sole of the foot down somewhere along the inside of your right leg. So you can either put it on the calf, or you can take a hold of your right ankle and place the right foot right up in the inner thigh. And then take the hands together in front of the chest. Try to lengthen up through both sides of the waist. Keep the gaze steady. Keep the breath flowing. If you feel stable here, you can lift your arms up over the head, either hands apart or palms together. The breath is steady. Good, and then from there, palms are going to come back towards the heart. Bring the left knee in towards the chest, and then start to lean the body forwards and send your lifted leg back. So we're going to come through warrior three. Straighten your lifted leg. Point the toes down towards the ground. It's like you're trying to make your body into a capital T shape. Lovely. And then bend into your front knee and take a big step back. And we're going to land in warrior one here. So bend your front knee. Lift your arms up. The back toes are turned out about 45 degrees. And just notice the feeling of having 2 feet down. Strong through the legs. Lifting through the chest. Lovely. And then release the hands, whether your 2 feet feel different from one another, the 2 legs feel different. Just register that. Good. And then from there, roll up to standing. Lifting up the chest. Good, and then we're going to change sides from there. So spread the toes of your left foot. And draw the right knee in towards the chest. You can have the hands together in front of the heart. And turning the right knee out towards the side. And then sole of the foot comes somewhere along the inner left leg. And as you press the foot in towards the leg, can you also press the leg against the foot so you create a bit of contact there? Lift the chest a little bit. And then if you feel stable, you can reach your arms up. And try to keep the gaze steady here. And see if you can focus on the body, just noticing the sensations through the standing leg. Then broadening out, including the breath, the arms, the face. Good, and then hands are going to come back together, lifting the right knee up in towards the chest, and then lean the body forwards as the right leg goes back. And if you wobble or you fall, that's fine. Just come back into the posture if you can. Good, and then bend into the standing leg and take a big step back. Back toes about 45 degrees, front knee bent, lift your arms. Just feel the feet on the ground. Just notice the reverberations of the previous posture. So the postures don't end when we come out of them. Lifting through the chest. Steady through the eyes. Lovely. And then from there, plant the hands down on the ground. Pivot on the back foot. And this time we're going to draw back into a downward facing dog from there. Let the neck soften. Let the breath go. Let's take one more breath here, just feeling the whole body. Lovely, and then come high up onto the tiptoes and rock yourselves forwards, come into a plank position, and just pausing in plank for a moment. Press the floor away, focus the eyes, but soften the face. Lovely. And then you're going to take the knees to the ground and lower yourself all the way down. Just make a pillow of your palms for a moment. Rest the forehead on the backs of the hands. Take a couple of steadier, deeper breaths. We're going to take a couple of back bends here. So look at your two hands and make sure that your right hand is on top of your left. Okay, so right hand is going to be on top of your left. Your forehead is resting on the back of your right hand. So you're going to start to lift your right arm, the whole right arm, up, and the head is going to lift up with it. So I'm demonstrating if you're not sure. So you're lifting the whole of the right arm up with the head. And then from there, lift your left leg up and back behind you. And then see if you can get quite light with that left arm on the floor, almost like you wanted to hover it off the ground as well. Good, and then slowly come all the way down. And then change sides, so you're going to have your left hand on top of your right. Your left hand is going to be in contact with your forehead. And then start to lift the whole of the left arm up with the head. And then lift and reach the right leg back. Couple of breaths. So quite mild, not a big range of motion posture, but really, really good for strengthening the back body. Good, and then slowly come all the way down. Just take a breath here. And then we're going to do one more on each side. So flip the hands again, so you've got your right hand on top. Forehead comes to the back of the right hand. And then lifting up through the right arm. And then reach the left leg back. Reaching through the toes. Big breath. Good. And then slowly coming all the way down. And then changing sides. So left hand on top. Forehead to the back of the left hand. Lift through the left arm. And reach the right leg back. And then that right hand can get a little bit lighter on the ground, as though you're about to lift it up. Good. And then slowly lower everything down to the ground and just pause there for a moment. Let's take a deeper breath in and a longer breath out. Okay. And then from there, just make your way over onto your back. So just rolling over and bending the knees when you get there. So you've got both knees bent. Let's hug the right knee in towards the chest. And just give it a little rock from side to side. So you're just moving the leg around in the hip socket. Good. And then we'll come into a reclined pigeon pose. So go ahead and cross your right ankle over your left knee. So you'll need to let go of the leg. So right ankle over left knee, flex the right foot. And then you can either stay as you are or lift up your left leg. And then you can take the hands and wrap them around the left leg. And draw the left knee in. As you draw the left knee in, lengthen the right leg a little bit out towards the right. Right knee lengthens away from the body. And if you find that your chin is tilting a lot up towards the ceiling here, or the shoulders are hunching, then that's fine. You might just need a cushion or a block underneath your head, and that should be more comfortable. Good. Okay, and if you've got hold of your left leg, then let go. Take the arms out wide, but keep the cross of the legs. And then we're going to cross the thighs over one another, so the knees are in line. So you've got your right leg is wrapped around your left, maybe a double wrap if that's available to you. And then just shimmy your hips an inch or two towards the right. And then take your knees down over towards the left. And your head can stay on a block for this, or a cushion if you had it on a cushion first. If it doesn't feel good to have your legs crossed over one another, then you can just stack your right leg on top of your left. That's fine. Good. And then coming all the way back through center, bring the knees in, bring the hips back to center, and change sides. So we're going to start with the left, the right ankle over the left knee. And then we can bring that right knee in towards the chest. Yeah, only if it feels okay for you. And as you stay here for a few breaths, just notice where you feel the effects of the posture most strongly. So most likely the outside of your left hip. So hold that in your awareness, but also notice the other parts of the body. So broaden out to notice the legs, the belly, the arms, the face, hands, and the breath. And then taking the arms out wide. Again, bring the thighs together. And then just shift the hips slightly over towards your left and take the knees towards the right. So into a twist. And as the practice begins to slow down, notice if this is where the mind tends to wander more, when we're less stimulated, when we're less occupied. What happens to the mind? Where there's less vying for our attention, where does the mind go? And then as you're ready, just make your way back into center, hugging the knees into the chest. And then a short period of shavasana, just lying down on your backs. Slide the legs out long, take the arms out, close the eyes. Just noticing whether there is any unnecessary tension through the body, through the face. You might like to use the breath to just soften any areas of tension. Can you let the head really relax into the floor? So when we lie in this position, there's often no one part of the body that is particularly vying for the attention, for our attention. So just using that opportunity to really notice the whole body, to feel the whole body, feel the aliveness, the vibrancy of the body. And if you're able to stay lying down for a little bit longer, then feel free to just turn off the video and do that. If it's time to move on, then just taking any little movements in the body, just moving the hands, the feet, just making your way over to one side. And easing your way up to a seated position, just crossing the legs, closing the eyes. I'm just going to end with reading that same passage, the same passage from the Dhammapada. Mind. As a fletcher straightens the arrow, so the man of understanding makes straight the trembling, unsteady mind, which is difficult to guard and difficult to restrain. So just opening the eyes whenever you're ready. Thank you very much, everyone. Well done. Thanks for coming to the mat and practicing with all of us. So yeah, as always, we really, really love that that you come to these classes, and Yeah, if you've been enjoying the classes here at the Buddhist Centre, I would really urge you to donate if you're in a position to. We rely on donations to run the centre, so for us to to put out everything that we do, to share these teachings, we rely very much on donations, so they're always very much appreciated. And if you'd like to delve deeper into your own yoga practice, then we're going to be running a yoga course next week, and it's going to take place on Zoom, and it's going to include 2 yoga classes every day, and it will be led by Gravavati and Don Utah. So if you'd like to sign up for that, or if you'd like any more information on that, then you can head to our online website, details of which are under this video, and yeah, you'll find all the details there. So thank you very much. I hope you'll have a lovely Monday, lovely week, and yeah, thanks, Tara. Bye, everyone.